Okay, we're going to get started on some homemade cowl blocks. We're going to make a 1/2 inch square side drill hole block, and later we'll make a 3/10 thick notch block. So I'm going to start by using an existing machine shop made block. To start, we have the 100 deep side drill hole, 200 thousandths deep, 300 thousandths, 400 thousandths, and we're going to mark up where these are going to go. Here, 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 and here. Alright, now that we have that marked, we're going to set up a cross mark 100, centered on 100, 200, 300, 400 deep. It's a 1/2 inch thick, so I'm going to make sure it looks good on the 0 and the 1/2 inch side. And then I'm going to make a mark there for 100, 200, 300, 400. And it's very hard to keep the drill, to get it to start straight and go straight, so I took my general center hole punch, and I'm going to sight that in very closely as my eye can see it. Those are off a little bit. I'm going to do this again on the other side. Alright, here's my little drill press, and I think it was about $50 when I bought it. There we go. Check it. Looks good. Alright. Now we want to get our workpiece clamped in very solid. Just have to do that 3 more times and we're done. Okay, now that we've drilled the 4 1/16 inch diameter side drill holes in our 1/2 inch square block, we're going to go ahead and make our notches. And the nice machine shop electronic distance machining notches. And so we're going to duplicate that same type of thing here. And maybe 4 lines here for the X-off cuts, which are not going to be as nice as EDM machine knives, of course. But it'll work. Alright, so we're going to take some thickness readings here on our cowl block. Let's see, we have our step wedge here. Our 200 step is 200. Our 500 step is 500. And on this end of the block, it's just about 300. We could call it 300 on that end, within a thou. On this end, though, 303. So we'll have to take that into account as we go along. On this first notch we're going to work on here, it's about 300, so we just want to take 10 thou off. And let's go ahead and try and do that. All right, ideally I think you would have a vise. I don't happen to have a vise, so I'm going to do with what I have with this clamp, and I have my 12-inch long hacksaw blade. It's a metal cutting blade. It's marked medium metal, 24 teeth per inch. And I'm going to get that on there and make it as close as I can. All right, let's see what we have here. Away from it, it's $2.99, and then on it, bring it up, bring that indication up to 80%, 288. So 11 thousandths, 10 or 11 thousandths. So that's good. I'm going to proceed like that on the rest of them. All right, let's see how we did on these. So the notches came out pretty good, I think. The 10 was 10, 10, 30, 60, 90, 130. That one was off. I want that to be 120. 150, 180, 210. I think I could work with that, knowing what it is. And the side drill holes, I would like these to be centered at 100, 200, 300, 400. And the centers were at 120, 210, 290, 400. So the 210 is within 10, the 290 is within 10 of the 300. Not too crazy about the 100, that was centered at 120. I could use the 400 from the other side though, so kind of difficult to do this, but you could do it to make it work, and I ended up with 120, 210, 290, 400. Alright, so we've got our homemade cal blocks here. Here's the store-bought EDM machined side drill hole block with the 100, 200, 300, 400 deep side drill holes, and this is our homemade block, close as we could get it at 120, 210, 290, 400. And so I'm going to recall the cal for my 45-degree shear. And then I'm going to reset it doing auto cal, which I've not done very much with this machine. Put it on the memories. And our depth number is right in there at 900. Let's see how we are at the end of leg 1. Pretty close. Alright, let's try some sizing on our notches. Let's try a deep one and a shallow one. Alright, let's try the 180 notch. The depth to that tip is 120. Oh, I gotta set my gain first. Bring back my side drill hole block. Gonna go to the 300 deep side drill hole. Bring that to 50% screen height. Turn off reference dB. There we go, just about 50%. try to find that tip again for the 180 deep notch. That depth to that tip is 120. Okay, there's my corner. Here's my tip. I'm going to peek up on that tip. Right about there, I think. Should be 120. I'm getting 110, I'll call it. So I'm minus 10 there. Alright, let's try a deeper tip. Let's try the 60 thou notch. The depth of that tip should be 240. There's my corner. There's my tip in front of it. So I'm looking at this little signal in front. Just about 242, yeah. All right, so I think I'll call this good. And now let's check out how our side drill holes on the store-bought block compares to our homemade block. Let's check the amplitude differences. Here's the 300 hole. That's the hole we most often use, and that's 50%. Let's try the 290. That's our closest on our homemade block. And the hole is bigger, so it is a little bit louder. It's 36. So it's about 2 dB louder. Alright, let's try the 210 notch on our EDM block. I'm going to say 36 dB gets me to about 50% screen height again. Let's compare that to our 210 notch. Again, that's a little louder, about 2 dB louder. Let's try the 400 on our store-bought block. Okay, we need to add a little gain here. 37 dB. And let's try our homemade block. There we go. That's about 1 dB louder. Alright, so they're all within about 2 dB. I guess we should try the 100, just so we do all of them. Here's the homemade block. Oops, 100 is back here. And let's try and bring that to 50% screen height. 38 dB, that's a little hot. Alright, 37 dB, let's try that on our homemade block. Alright, so that's a little loud. Whoops, wrong way. 1, 2, 3. 3 dB. Alright, so they're all about 2 dB louder on this homemade block. So if I use this and I want to set it to be where I think I would be with a machined block, I can set my gain with the homemade block and then take 2 dB out. Let's see how we do with our sizing. And let's try, I think we did some sizing on this store-bought block. Let's try some sizing on our homemade block. Again, let's try a deep one and a shallow one. Here's the 180 notch. The depth to that tip is, let me set my gain for the 300 hole. I'm going to use the homemade block to set the gain. So there I am at 50%. And I think we said we want to remove 2 dB to make it be the same as the store-bought block. And here's the 180 notch. There's our corner trap signal. Here comes our tip up here. And I'm going to add 6 dB just so I can see where it peaks up a little better. Back and forth. Oscillate. Right there, 116. So the actual should be about 120. And I'm getting very close to 120. All right, let's try the 60 thou notch. There's our corner. This tip is a little bit hard to see. I think we demoed this before. The tip is right in front there. Oscillate, back and forth. Oscillate. Right there, okay. 236. 230 should be actually 240. That's about as close as I ever get, so pretty happy with the way these are working. Okay, thanks a lot.